My highest so far has been 159. I'd like to get that up a little bit higher. I'm taking it in October, but I've just signed up for November test as well.
Cool, because you're at 159 right now. You've got both
Yep.
October and November on the agenda. What's your ultimate goal for test day?
For test day, at least a 165.
Okay, so about 6 points.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many hours a week are you able to study?
Um, right now I've been studying. I could probably put in a good 30.
30 a week. So
Yeah.
close to full time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any particular challenges or struggles you're facing right now?
I do think that at some points I do run into a little bit of burnout. I'll find myself performing much higher in one day. Usually at like day 5 or 6, I'll kind of hit a peak, and then um, that'll kind of tail off. And if I don't take my day off, if I don't just completely step away from it, my next day back is going to be a real struggle.
Yes, you need some days off.
I do.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a good move. I mean, if you're studying 30 hours a week, you could certainly afford a day off here or there. How many practice tests are you taking per week?
One so far, one a week so far on the
Okay,
study
one a week.
schedule.
Okay, good. One a week and reviewing it in depth. You're in the boot camp, so you're meeting with your coach as well, right?
Yes.
Any particular weak areas on the exam in terms of specific question types or topics?
It's I'd have to say my two biggest problems are still necessary assumptions, and then convincing myself to choose the wrong answer in flaw questions seem to be um, a forte of mine. And then my performance from one section to another, there's still a fair amount of variance in it. Like I could do timed like getting 80% correct, and then go on to almost like if I went logical reasoning and got 80% correct, and then took a reading comp, and then went back to another logical reasoning, I could go ahead and not get anywhere close to 80. So it's, there's still some amount of variance. I'd like to get a little more consistent with my performance from like one LR section to another. But
Okay, so sounds like fatigue or burnout, maybe. Do you think that's possible?
I mean, the last test that I took, the very worst was the first LR section, and then I did better than I'd ever done on RC, and then I kind of got to where that kind of the 80% was when I was doing individual time sections of LR. I was getting about 80%. So that's where my third section went to. So it's almost inexplicable why my first section wasn't necessarily the best one that I got into. Maybe I just didn't get warmed up. I thought on the day that I took that test that maybe I could do some easy questions based on a particular type of question to begin with, just to get myself kind of warmed up and ready to go. So that might have gotten my my thinking into the wrong direction. When I hit my first question, it was like, well, this was not consistent with what I'd just been doing. So I'll change that and see if I can kind of bounce back into being a more consistent on that first passage.
Okay, yeah, sounds like maybe that is a warm up kind of situation then instead, where maybe you need to do a couple questions before you start your practice test so that the first questions you're doing are not the ones that count. I'm not saying you do a ton, but maybe just three, like three logical reasoning questions, or
Yeah,
read one passage and do the main idea
almost like
question
a
only, and that's it.
mystery. Don't gear it towards a particular type of question. Just go into a practice test, not the one that I was taking, but just start doing the first three and then head into it.
Yeah, first three. Easy questions that are going to be gimmies. Even if you've seen them before, that's fine too. The goal is not to challenge yourself. It's just so that
Right.
you get your brain fired up a little bit. But I think that three logical reasoning questions, easy ones that you know, could be a good move to get you warmed up a little bit. That might be all you need. But then I also do see some opportunity if you're saying that necessary assumption and flaw give you trouble because they are more common. So that might be if you can work on those a bit on the side, maybe review some course videos on those topics or drill some questions there, go over those with your coach. There's
Yeah,
probably an opportunity there.
that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you're signed up for both October and November, right?
Yeah, I just signed up for the November today.
Good. Okay, cool. So I mean,
No,
that should give you peace of mind knowing that it's not all riding on October.
no, yeah.
Okay, good. And then with November, it gives you an additional month beyond October to give you some more exposure, some more practice. And have you taken the LSAT officially before?
I've not.
Okay.
This will be the
Yeah.
first time.
So good. Okay. So then I would say it's probably not a bad idea to just plan on taking November anyway,
Yeah.
so that you have another at bat.
It kind of takes the pressure off a little bit.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
haven't taken a test. The last test I took anywhere close to this was like a medical board test. And that was over a decade ago. So,
Okay. So it's been a while. Yeah.
it is a challenging test. There's a fair amount that's riding on it. I've been there before, but it's been a while.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. I think in terms of a plan for you, definitely integrate warm-ups into every practice test that you take from now till November. Just 3 questions, logical reasoning, or 1 reading passage text plus the main point question. Just do those initially. Drill necessary assumption and flaw by type, and or review lesson videos on those topics. Also discuss those with your coach. And then review, but I think that's all you got to do. Just maintain consistency, but also more days off. I think that maybe how many days off are you currently taking per week?
One.
Okay.
One.
Maybe you want to up it to 2?
Yeah. Yeah. I would assume so. There's I definitely noticed in a week where it's just the fatigue of it all starts building on. And it's interesting. The LSAT's pretty interesting to me because in the past I've sat there and studied for hours a day for days on end and didn't really get to that fatigue part. But there's the from my experience at LSAT, it's a lot more in like the practicing of a process versus just regurgitating things that you've already put in your brain. And putting stuff in my brain I'm fairly good at doing, but changing the process of how you're thinking, that's a different animal than what I've been experiencing in the past.
I'll say. No, it definitely changes how you think, how you analyze, how you critique, how you engage in criticism and skeptical approaches to things. So yeah, it's a different animal. I mean, unlike the MCAT, for example, no memorization, just
Yeah,
process, just process. So
yeah,
we look at step by step. So speaking of that, I would look at, can you distill a step by step process for necessary assumption, and similar step by step for flaw questions, and then step by step for your day of the exam going into it, where you have some sort of pre-test ritual that includes a couple warm-up questions.
yeah. We'll do that.
Anything else?
Oh no, no.
All right, Hans, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank
Keep
you.
me posted on how things go.
We'll do.